Yes. Hello, hello. Be Well Fitness here. And we're going to talk all about feet with an amazing soul coach, Coach Raleigh. Of course, she can coach on other things too, but this is one of her specialties. And I love to talk about feet, as you know. And if you were joining us on time, sorry we had little technical difficulties. So hopefully you're still there and come back. If you are joining us live, feel free to write your comments, questions. We are here to make this event as useful and as helpful for you, for our amazing audience. All right, so if somebody is here, it seems like maybe we have two people or at least two likes. So if you're here, you can say hello. Just make sure that you give permission to StreamYard to see your name and see your question. All right, and Coach Raleigh is joining us from the UK.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, thanks to coronavirus, our world is getting smaller and we can
Yeah.
see each other, at least here on the screen, from around the world. So, Raleigh, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are your other specialties?
So I'm a personal trainer and I work with one-to-one clients and I teach some fitness classes. My specialties are just like weight training, training clients to, well, before COVID, I majority of my clients were like based in the gym. We used to train to make them stronger or lose weight. Um, Since COVID, things slightly shifted. I'm mainly online. I've done a few courses. I started working with a little bit more looking into the feet, helping people to find their feet and feel the difference when they're using the feet properly, when they mobilize the foot, what's changing with their body. So I've been kind of like doing a little bit of like work with feet, assessing people, doing some small group case studies, and at the same time still doing my one-to-one coaching and group coaching.
So, when people come to you with specific feet issues, what are the common ones? If you give us three common ones that you hear.
Common ones in terms of like complaints or what they know about the
Yeah,
feet.
some discomfort, complaint, pain, whatever that is. If there are three things that they say, like for example, for me, I know I have a bunion, so it's my problem. So it's a problem for everything. I cannot find the shoes that I need.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have flat feet, and this is basically your death sentence for life. Or every time I go hiking, I always sprain my ankle. And that will be the
Yeah.
three common ones that I hear from my clients.
Um, so it's different. Probably ankle sprains quite often, and then since that, people haven't got any physio done, or they just like I sprained my ankle in the past, and I even don't remember
Yeah.
which side I did. I have no idea. I don't
Hmm.
remember. I think that is left, but I'm not so sure. And it just like it healed on its own. I never really paid attention to that. So this is one of the complaints, and then after that, they've got issues with the foot, or maybe they don't feel like as stable as they want to feel,
Hmm.
or they
Hmm.
feel like their ankle is quite loose and it just always feels like it's thrown to inside or outside. Um, Other complaint is quite often a pain on the bottom of the arch, like quite tight arches, and as you said,
Hmm.
maybe flat feet.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
because I work at the moment, my work with feet is majority. I see other trainers, so I mean,
Mm.
they sometimes complain about their other issues in their body, but they kind of know that they might need some work with the feet. So yeah, I don't have that much experience to just say what's the common, but probably flat feet, pain on the under the arch, and then ankle sprains is probably the most common one I see.
Yeah. So I guess it's coming around the world for sure. So
Yeah.
yes, and I work primarily with women over 50 who are
Hmm.
somewhat active or used to be active and want to return to more active. So
Hmm.
especially for walking more or hiking more and just sometimes also jogging if they used to be runners and they want to kind of go back to running. So and there
Yeah.
is always that transitional time. So where I emphasize that with my clients, because if you have been not so active and just had sedentary job, and then suddenly, especially during coronavirus, I've noticed more and more that people come and the story kind of sounds like this. Well, I decided to start walking, and I of course started walking 5 miles. And
Yeah.
when was the last time you walked 5 miles? Oh, I don't remember. But because
Yeah.
of the coronavirus, I don't want to be stuck in the house. So I
Yeah.
started to walk, and my hip hurts, or my foot feels funky, or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I always try to emphasize regress to progress is the best strategy
For
to
sure.
increase
Yeah.
your mileage and
Mm-hmm.
let your body slowly adapt. Just like sometimes you go to the doctor, they also tell you, like, you have this new medication, start slow, start
Yeah.
small, and then if needed, progress.
For sure. Yeah.
Um, so I know we planned a little bit more practical exploration, which I think is awesome because
Mm-hmm.
I think when people experience it, so let's see if we can move towards that
Okay.
and also have those progressive exercises that people can do and how they might feel changes or how they may feel them differently if we just bring the awareness to feet.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
where do you want to start? I'm
So
going to be
let's
your
start with,
client.
yeah, let's start with assessment. And
Okay.
you can use your mat, or you can just find a space where you feel comfortable standing tall.
All right.
And then from there, I just want you to put your feet hip width apart, not so narrow, not so wide, with your legs or feet maybe not touching. You can
Is that
close your
okay?
eyes if you want.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
maybe go slightly narrow if you can, just tiny bit
A little
narrower than
narrow?
that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And just make sure your feet are in line. So make sure one foot is not in front of the other, but like they're kind of in line. That
I
looks
feel like
good.
they are. How did
Okay,
it
good.
look to you? Okay.
Yeah. Um, it doesn't matter how they look to me. It's more important how you feel. So let's
Yeah.
stick to that.
Well,
Yeah.
yes,
So
they feel pretty in
if
line. Yeah.
yeah, if people are doing it with us or they do it later on, just like make sure your feet are in line. You can always use the front of your mat to kind of measure that. And then I
Yeah.
want you to
My.
just relax
Mhm.
your arms around your body. You can close your
Okay.
eyes if you want. And when I say relax, you don't feel like super relaxed or something, but just like try to just,
Not like ice cream melting.
yeah, but at the same time, not like shrugging and staying like
Right.
tense in that position. Good.
Right.
And then from there, I want you to just focus on your legs and then observe and feel your feet and legs. And you can also put notes, or if you do it later on, you can just like grab a notepad and just put a few notes. And just notice if you feel one foot heavier than the other, or if they feel equal. And if they feel much different, can you just slightly shuffle your body weight so you can kind of equal the weight pressure, or if it feels uncomfortable to do that? Eyes can be closed. And then once you sense the pressure under your feet, you can start thinking, do you feel like your heels are heavy and you're kind of more like leaning back towards your heels? Or if you feel like you're more forward on your toes and the front of the foot? Or you feel like the pressure is equally spread between the front and the back of your foot on each side? And if
Do
you're
you want
not
me
sure,
to? Do you want me to
sorry,
tell you what I feel, or we just go with it?
um, let's go
What
with
do you?
that. I'm just like trying to just try to sense for now and relax.
Okay.
Um, and just see if you can kind of make your body weight equal above the 4 points of your foot, basically the two heels and the front of the feet, and you kind of like spread your weight equally. And it's okay if it's not fully. I mean, obviously everyone is going to be different. Notice if your knees are fully extended or maybe bent a lot, and just try to keep them in a position where they're slightly soft, but they're not super bending, so that you're not like bending too much and pushing yourself forward. At the same time, they're not like locked and you kind of feel like excessive arch in the lower back. You feel good?
Yes. You
Good.
know what? I just realized. So I'm not sure. Yeah, if they can actually hear us, because
Right.
Another technical moment. I'm just gonna disconnect my AirPods because I actually hear you.
I don't hear you anymore.
Okay, so can you talk to me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so I can hear you now. And I took them off. I'm gonna speak louder.
Okay.
Sorry. Technical moment. Amanda, we hear you. Did you hear us both before? That would be good if you did. I think you need to keep your earpods. Cannot hear you when you talk. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Amanda. So I wasn't sure if people can hear if I hear her in my earpods.
So we were fine before that.
All right. Yeah. Okay, Amanda. So I'm back to AirPods. Can you tell us you can hear us both? I hope.
Speak
So
now.
then we'll continue. We have just a technical day. So this is the power of our mind to adapt and the power of our body to adapt. Well, anyway, so I'm back to AirPods. She did say that she heard us before.
Okay.
So hopefully she's hearing us now. So let us know otherwise. And yes, we're going back to our feet awareness. Okay.
Okay, so just try to relax in that position. And just take a few breaths here. Trying to sense the ball of your foot on each side. Trying to sense your heels on both sides. Take a nice slow inhale through your nose. And a longer exhale, either through your mouth or through your nose. Trying to keep your attention on your feet. And make sure your glutes are relaxed so they're not squeezing. And you can tell me if you feel now kind of pressure equally spreading around your feet or you feel something heavy than the rest.
Well, I think when I started, she wrote something. Oh dear, now I cannot hear you. Oh, great. I'm just gonna take them off. I think that will be better. So we'll see. Sorry. My prep. Oh yeah, I cannot. Yeah, she cannot hear me. All right. Just gonna take them off and I'm gonna disconnect. Sorry. Disconnect. Okay. So Raleigh, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, good. So if you can hear me, that means they can hear us, and hopefully they heard the rest of it. All right, Amanda, keep us posted. Thank you for being here. So yes. So when I started with my awareness, I felt a lot more connection with my left.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I was connected with my left foot equally. So now I felt stable and just like it was my side. With my right one, I felt light, and I also felt like my quad muscle, not my glute necessarily, but my quad, it's just like didn't want to relax. Like every time I would relax my knee, my quad would just sort of like contract. And then as I was standing here and I was trying to relax my quad, my knee, I kind of equaled my presence on both feet. So in my quad and knee kind of started to relax a little bit more. So that's kind of where I am. But I felt relaxed in my glutes. And I think when you said explore shifting forward, back, side to side, you're saying different words. I was kind of balanced out after that more.
Yeah, so sometimes it helps like if you're standing tall. I think that now they might hear us double. just like leaning forward and backward, like kind of moving backward and forward, to the point where like when you're leaning back towards your heels, your toes are still grounded, so you're not leaving the ground with the toes. And then when you go forward, you're not gripping with the toes, and your also heels doesn't leave the ground. And you can do that for a few seconds, so just kind of letting the body weight to go forward and back, forward and back, and just find what feels center for you. And then what else you can do is kind of slowly soften the knees and bring them towards each other. And then pull the knees away from each other. And you're going to go on the inside of your feet and then the outside, just kind of exploring. And again, stop what feels like a center for you. That sometimes helps people to relax and then find where they want to be, where it's more comfortable.
Yes, that helps.
And also, like when you do that, I find like staying in that position and maybe taking 5 breaths is quite good to kind of relax the system and really pay attention to the feet. And that could be like a warm-up exercise. And if you do it correctly, you actually feel like your legs working quite hard to, you know, keep you in that position.
Yeah.
And then from there, what we're going to try to do, and you don't have to close your eyes, but you can do it if you want, if your balance is good. We can start lifting the toes off the ground, maybe on both sides for now. Trying to maintain the ball of the foot down on the ground. And then trying to stretch the toes to the side. So literally just pulling the toes sideways. Like a fan, like opening the toes to the side. And then dropping them down. And relax them. So kind of relax them again to the position they want to be. Lift the toes up towards your knees. Then start pulling your little toe, your fourth toe, your third toe, your second toe, and the big toe out. Just kind of going in that direction, out, and then drop them down on the ground. So we're kind of spreading the toes wide, and it's okay if they don't feel like they move so much. That's fine. It usually doesn't move that much. We want just a little bit. And you can do it a few times. So kind of like first lift the toes up, try to pull them to each side. So left toes going to the left, right to the right, and then going slowly down. And you're going to start feeling how the toe is getting a little bit more spread out. Can you sense that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And if you feel comfortable doing that, try to look in front of you, not down. Because obviously if we look down, the pressure kind of goes forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And try to do it a few more times. If you have a mirror at home when you're doing that, you can try to use a mirror and then look, spread. Maybe do it 2 more times. 1 more time. And then relax. Maybe take a few steps around the room. Just allow your body to relax a little bit.
It requires a lot of brain activity to work your feet and your toes, which is good.
Yeah.
Creating new maps and always exercising brain.
And then standing in that position, like feet hip width apart, so not very wide and not very narrow. I want you to soften one knee and then bring the other leg behind you. But you're going to put the top of your foot down against the ground. I'm not sure if you can see my feet.
Yeah.
But like you want to almost turn your foot. And for some people, that's going to be quite uncomfortable. So don't worry if you can't put the whole foot in, just a little bit. And if you get a cramp, don't turn the foot, just kind of step back and keep the ball of the foot down. And just like slightly shuffle that back foot in and out. And I feel like it's stretching. And then change sides and do the same on the other side. And for me, that's very easy. And for some people, it's going to be very hard. So it's okay if they can't do it. And you can just like step back and toes on the ground and the ball of the foot's on the ground. Okay. And then let's change position again. So we're going to step with the other leg forward again. You're going to get into split stand position. And I want you to feel comfortable in that position. So not very long step. you can be like, and not very small, like a step, but like comfortable to stay in a split stand position. You can always put the back like slightly out so it's nice and stable. And then from there, I want you to soften your front knee. Maybe step slightly back with your left leg. If that's your, yes, good. Okay, so I want you to bend that right leg a little bit more. And I want you to kind of practice that lift on the toes. And then spread your toes wide and then bring them down on the ground. And you can stay slight. You don't have to lean forward too much, but you want that front leg to be a little bit bent. And you're going to lift the toes, spread them out, and then bring them down to the ground. One more time. Good. Now keep the toes on the ground. They're nice and relaxed. See if you can feel the ball of your big toe and the ball of your little toe. And for people that which can't feel the ball of the foot on the inside and outside, so like under the big toe and the little, they can put a little something like a sock, a little wedge, just to sense the ground.
I have my wedges.
But if people doesn't have wedge, they can grab a sock and just put under the ball of their foot. We want to sense the ground with the joint of the big toe and also the joint of the little toe. So some people concentrate too much on the inside where is the big toe, but we want to sense the outside edge as well. And then
So
from here,
I wasn't able to sense my pinky side, so that's where you want me to put the wedge, right?
yes, yeah.
So, okay, so yeah.
And then from here, staying kind of nice and upright, front leg is slightly soft. Find good position with the back leg. I just want you to start rolling your foot in and out. So kind of like more kind of exploring your heel. And kind of, it's okay if you lift. So let's say if we roll the heel to the outside, it's okay if your big toe leave the ground for now and the ball of the big toe. And then roll the knee to the inside and find the inner corner of your heel. And just go from out to in. It's okay if the foot is moving a lot. We just want to sense the heel on the inside and on the outside. And you don't need to move back and forward. You can just stay in a position and just work with your heel.
So, but you want me to move from inner heel, like right now, I feel my inner heel and the big toe. And then when I go back, I feel my outer heel.
Yes, you can do it this way as well. Or if people finding it harder, they can stay in the same position so the body doesn't move.
Oh.
You can just roll your foot in and out just to feel the heel inside and out. I mean, what you did is it's okay, but for some people it's going to be really hard doing it, and you can stay a little bit more upright as well. So it's like you can just explore finding your inside heel and outside heel.
Okay, so like this, right?
Yeah, and you can even move your knee. You know, for beginners, like if someone never really explored their foot, they might need to move the knee out to kind of like turn the foot to the outside, and they might need to turn the knee in to feel the foot to the inside.
Yeah.
Concentrating on the heel. Once you sense the heel, you can stop the movement in the knee. So we're kind of keeping the knee forward, facing forward above the big toe or the second toe. And then we can just trying to move just the heel in and out. We're not moving the body, just trying to explore the heel. Nice one. And then go for a little walk, and then we're going to change sides and do the other side. It's a very small movement. We just want to feel the ground.
Well, I guess that's why I like working with the feet, because those small movements is this huge results or connections in the body, because we just don't take time to do those small movements. So it's always about gross movements.
So let's change your foot and step forward with the other foot. Again, slightly soften that knee.
So I'm gonna
relax your arms.
So shall I be more here? I'm gonna be more here then.
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. And then start just like trying to lift your toes up.
Okay.
And spread them and drop them down. And again, lift your toes up, spread them and drop down, and then kind of relax them, lift. Good. Now sense the ground with the front of the foot, so the joint again, the joint of the big toe and the joint of the little toe. Staying heavy above this leg, you're going to start rotating your knee out, and you can roll the whole foot. So literally, if that's my hand, you can do this in and out to find your heel. And you can move your knee in and out. And don't worry if the toes leaving the ground for now. Don't worry if the front of the foot is leaving the ground. We just want to find the movement in the heel for start in an easy way. And then once you sense the inside and outside of the heel, I want you to drop the toes down. They're nice and relaxed. They're nice and long. Sense the front of your foot. Knee stays slightly bent, but now we stop the movement in the knee. We kind of keep it in the center. I'm going to start trying to just find the outside heel. And that's going to feel like you're pulling your big toe slightly back. And then we're going to find the inside of the heel. And it's a very small move. I'm going to try to put my camera down here for a second.
Oh, no, I'm here.
Just like staying in that position, knee staying neutral, and just finding the heel on the inside, outside, knee staying almost neutral. Good. And then relax again, and then walk a little bit. How about
that? Well, I feel like I'm walking with the whole foot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel all those 4-point connections.
So at the beginning, we just kind of explore, yeah.
It feels more connected on the right, and I guess the good thing because I wasn't feeling as connected on the right side before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so let's try to make it a bit more complicated.
Okay.
So you're going to bring your one leg forward and one behind you. And then soften the front knee and see if you can sense like most of your body weight is above that front leg. You can always elevate your back heel off the ground, but don't go super high to kind of super like extended position on the foot and then knee pushing forward. So you want to keep the heel kind of heavy down towards the ground on the back leg. So front leg is bent. And maybe put your hands on the hips for start, especially if you've never done this before. And I want you to concentrate on the front foot. So toes are relaxed, heel is heavy, and you're going to slowly bend your knee. Very small, slow movement, okay? So don't push from the hips to kind of lean forward. Allow your knee to bend. Your knee can bend without pushing from above. And you're going to start feeling the pressure go forward towards the front of the foot. And then you'll find a position where like you can't bend that knee anymore because the heel wants to lift. You're going to stop there and I'm going to gently go back to the center, extend the leg. So for people that feel a lot of pressure, obviously it's a very individual for everyone, but what we can do is maybe they can grab a sock and they can put that sock under their toes, just under the toes, like for a little bit of reference. And maybe they can grab one extra sock and I can put under their heel. So that's going to be a good setup with someone with flat feet. If the person have a very high arch, I'm probably going to say sock under the toes and then one under the arch. If the arch is quite high and the foot feels stiff.
Okay, so for the flat feet, I should put my wedge under the outer heel or inner heel?
I'll say the middle because everyone is so different. So let's start from the middle.
Okay.
And I mean, it's quite difficult to figure out for every single person, but if we start in the middle, that probably is a good start.
Okay.
And only if the arch is super high, I'm probably gonna rest. We probably already have quite a lot of pressure on the heel, so maybe instead of having the heel high, I might just put a sock under the arch for the people who are very high arch, just to sense that arch is quite stable and you can relax a little bit against that sock.
So can I double check on that bending of the knee? So like
Yes.
doing this is gonna be not where we want to be, right?
No, that's kind of
But
like a lot
doing
of stress.
this is where we're going for, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And trying to maintain that kind of a straight leg, left leg stay kind of straight. We don't
Here.
want to bend the knee too much. Yes, we want to move forward, loading that front foot.
So like I guess straight but not hyperextended through the knee.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So like yeah, I do feel my glute working, so
Yeah.
that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm gonna go slowly. It's gonna go a few. Let's say let's do 4. Slowly, like bending the knee. Look forward for me. So keep your eyes on the horizon in front of you. Good. And you want to maintain nice, relaxed toes. The ball of your foot is down on the ground, and you sense the heel as well on the ground. When you bend your knee forward, you want to feel like your heel is heavy, and you're loading the front of your foot, the midfoot. And on the way back, you're going to feel how your pressure goes more towards the heel. Good. Do one more time and then switch sides. And people can start as simple as that, just to get that motion without worrying too much what's happening with the arch. The foot is going to still relax a little bit and work in a nice way.
Okay.
Let's swap sides and do the other side. And do 5 or 6 reps on the other side.
Let me see how one would go.
Yeah, that looks good.
So under the toes.
Yes.
And under the center of the heel.
Yeah, center of the heel. Nice one.
Okay.
I'll say both feet facing straight. Imagine you're going to be taking a walk. So like we're walking forward, but without really actually step forward.
Except, like, as you may notice, lots of people walk like this. Well,
yeah.
Like that. Whoop, here.
Yeah. And then hands can be on the hips, but if you feel like you're kind of pressing them too, like some people will put hands on the hips and they're going to almost push the hips down.
Okay.
I'll say for people like that, just relax the arms around your body.
Okay.
Nice one. Look forward. So looking eyes on the horizon. Going to start slowly moving with your knee. And it can be a really small move for the beginning. You don't have to go, flex a lot. If that's something new for you and you never flex your knee that much, just very slowly, progressively bend your knee. And you want to keep heel heavy and toes relaxed. And if you start feeling that your toes start gripping, maybe you went way too forward and that's why your body starts to be like, okay, I'll fall down. I need to stop you falling down. Just go back. And do it maybe 2 more times.
So how is it?
That looks good. Yeah. And you're going to start feeling like your foot is loading, your leg is working in a nice, settled way. Good.
So
how do you feel?
When I move forward here, I feel like this side glute is starting to work. Engage. I feel my calf also working. And I also feel this side of the glute working.
Good.
So
yeah. Nice one. Okay. So that's a few ways to find the position of your feet and explore the pressure under your heels, pressure under the ball of your foot, kind of stretching a little bit the toes with like a lifting up, spreading the toes out and then kind of dropping them down. And then you can just get in split stance position, what we just did, and just practice maybe 5-6 reps very slowly, learning to flex your knee, maintaining your heel on the ground, and then keeping the toes relaxed, so feeling the ball of your foot. Shall we go to some exercises?
Sure, yes.
Good.
Where do you want to be next?
So let's try a glute bridge position, because glute bridge is a very popular exercise. But I find people get super disconnected with their feet. So feet down on the ground.
So let me know if I need to adjust anything.
We can start first with feet on the ground, and then we can try also feet on the wall.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm going to the wall. Okay. Is it
Okay.
good here?
Yeah. So in that position, you want to relax your body.
Okay.
You want to feel your lower back is kind of grounding. So you kind of like slightly tuck in the pelvis if you can. But when you do that, try not to crunch with your abs. And then bring your feet in line with your hips. So again, not very wide with the feet. So if you lift your head, you shouldn't be able to see your feet or toes. And if your toes are spreading out, like a kind of turn out your feet, just bring them facing forward. Good. Now from here, I want you to see if you can sense the ball of your foot on each side. And for some people, it's going to be hard. They will probably feel more pressure on the heels. And again, we can put a sock under the toes just to ground, basically to bring the ground slightly closer to our toes. Because we want to have nice extended toes. And they're relaxed. And if you don't have wedges, just you can use like a sock just under. Nice one. Good. So I want you to find the pressure in your feet. And in that position, obviously, the pressure is not going to be the same like when we're standing. But I want you to think about you gently press the feet against the ground, not squeezing the floor with your toes, but kind of pushing down. And you're going to slowly start moving your knees forward. They're not going to be able to move so much. And at the same time, we want to raise the hips up. So feet down, knees slightly forward, and gently raising the hips. And you can go as high as your body allows you, as long as you're not arching the lower back. And when you're in that position, a lot of people will lift their toes off the ground or they roll their foot on the outside. So I want you to feel your toes are sensing the ground. The ball of your foot is sensing the ground and the heels are sensing the ground. And you're going to slowly go down with the hips. We're going to lower. And again, when you go down, we want to keep that contact with the ground with our feet. We don't want to go too much, like we don't want to lift the toes off the ground. The pressure going to go slightly more towards the heels, but we don't want to lose. And try a few more times and see how you feel. Can you sense your feet grounded?
Yes.
Good. And then once you're on the top, just visualize your feet. Imagine the pressure is spread around the ball of the foot and the heel on each foot. And you're not rolling your ankles to the outside, you're not lifting. And then go down. We're going to make it a little bit more complicated on the next one.
Oh,
Good.
it's, I definitely feel a lot of glute work and hamstring work and
Yes.
calves, all of it. Okay, give me complicated.
So if you want to feel the hamstrings a little bit more, I want you to ground your feet again. So you're sensing the front and the back of your foot. And I want you to imagine you want to pull the heels towards you, or like you want to pull your body forward towards the heels. But almost imagine you want to slide your heels back.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to move slightly your body forward. But when you do that, you don't want to lift your toes up. You want to kind of stay grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Gently pulling the heels back towards you. Start raising your hips up again. Imagine your kneecaps are traveling slightly forward. They physically can't move that much, but just the direction is going to help the pelvis to get in a good position.
All right, shaking now.
Yes, and then slowly go down. And again, make sure your toes are not lifting up. If they are lifting up, you can always put the socks and that stop the lifting. Good. Do you want to try one more time where you just pull the heels? But again, we're not pressing down, we're actually pulling. Good job. And then rest.
Oh.
So when people are doing like a glute bridge, hip thrust, they turn their feet to the outside, they're losing contact with the big toe or the inner part of the foot, they're lifting toes up, and that obviously gonna move the pressure in a different places where we sometimes don't want it. So sometimes people will feel like the lower back working, and that might be just because we're not grounded, not lower back is weak, but actually we just put so much force back towards the upper part of the body. So sensing the ground is quite important.
Yeah.
Same thing gonna apply when you're on the wall. So when you put your feet on the wall, you should turn around if you want.
Yeah, that definitely felt good. Okay.
You're gonna put your feet and make sure both feet are facing forward. So some people are gonna have like a feet turn out, or maybe one foot turn out. Yeah, like that. And just make sure they face forward. And also some people are gonna position their feet against the wall, but one's gonna be higher than the other. And we want to make them equal on each side. Good. Once you do that, I want you to imagine the same what we did down on the ground. Sense the front of your foot. So you want to feel like your toes are not floating. And for some people, they've got like this kind of a scrunchy toes. That might be very hard. So maybe they can stay on the ground first and then they can go on the wall after a while. And then sense the ball of your foot and then the heel. Can you feel like the feet are kind of equally pressing that wall?
I have a little challenging time with my left, but
Okay.
I'm working on
Where?
it.
Where on the left?
Yeah, my left. I don't think I am connecting with my pinky side.
Okay. So it's okay if you don't feel the actual toe. And we can always, so you can probably work for a week or so on the ground and then translate, or maybe do 2 sets with breathers on the ground and then do on the wall. But, you know, if you don't sense just the pinky but actual toe, that's not too bad. So imagine you want to now, don't push too hard anymore. Just keep your feet connected, but they're not pushing forward. You want to slide your heels down a little bit, like you want to pull that wall down, and then gently lift your hips off the ground. And in that position, you might feel like you can't go that high, and that's absolutely fine. And then going down. You relax. And again, feet are quite light, but they're connected. All 4 corners are connected. We're sliding the heels down. Physically, we're not moving the foot, but we imagine that we want to pull that wall down. And you want to lift up. And you should experience like the back side of your leg is working quite hard.
Yes.
Nice one. Let's do one more time. And I know that we are pressured by the time, so we're going to do maybe one more exercise.
Okay.
And then go all the way down and standing up.
Ooh, that was good.
Good. Okay, so let's do one standing lateral movement.
Okay.
So you're going to have your feet together. And I want you to do a small step. So when you step, you're slightly wider. So feet are slightly wider than your shoulders. But you're not a very wide stance, okay? Not this kind of a really wide stance.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to step to that. And then I want you to put your hand, let's say we're going to put hand on the right hip. And we're going to start pushing the hip against that hand. So we're going to sit into that hip. And we want to maintain our knee pointing towards the big toe a little bit. So I've got my right hand on my right hip. I'm pushing my hip towards the right hip. And I've got my right knee in position with my big toe. So in this position, the pressure is more on the outside of your heel and the outside in general of your foot. But you don't want to lose your big toe. You want to still feel like it's grounded. And then I want you to go to the center. And the pressure going to go a tiny bit more towards the middle of your foot on the right side. Don't think too much about the other foot, just think about one. But we don't lose the contact with the outside foot. And then we're going to do again, we're going to sit into the right hip. You can always reach forward with the other arm if you want. We want to maintain that nice solid tripod, but the pressure is going slightly more towards the outside of the foot. And then when we stand up and go to the center, the pressure going to go to the inside. And you can do it slowly, in and out, just sensing the foot and just concentrating on that side leg and that side foot. Good. Do you feel like how the pressure transitions from the going more towards the outside of the foot and the heel?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes slightly more towards the big toe and the inside. And you're also doing quite a lot of other stuff. You're loading that hip, you're kind of rotating a little bit with your upper body, but we're just paying the attention to the hip, to the foot, sorry. Yeah. And then try the other side, maybe 2-3 reps. You might find one side harder than the other, and that's normal. So we might need to take a little bit more time or like slow down. Again, it's not a very big move. For some people, it's going to be just a little bit of movement there. We just want to feel like we're going towards the inside, outside. You can even treat it more like a foot exercise, even if the whole leg is working and the whole body is working. But just concentrating, paying attention on that foot pressure, because that will help you for the rest of the exercises you're doing or like when you're walking. And then just shake it out and walk. Good. How was that?
Good. I would say I definitely felt more outer heel, outer foot connection with my right than with my left. I still felt it, but it wasn't as...
So when you're on the left side, you can probably use your sock. So let's say you can position a sock on the, under the heel and just kind of like, almost like a sensory awareness.
In the
center like having the
outer heel.
Sorry?
In the center or outer heel?
Maybe in the center or more on the inside, because you probably kind of, did you feel that you're losing contact when you were going to the outside or inside?
I didn't feel like I was losing a contact. I just felt not as connected with my outer as I was on the right.
Mm-hmm. So there might be other stuff going on in the body where I just need to work a little bit more. But even slowing down and maybe just like trying to kind of connect, your brain and your foot. Because sometimes we don't like to be on the left side and you need just a little bit more experience being on that left foot. That might be just enough. So maybe if you're doing your exercises, maybe do an extra set on that side. We might need a little bit longer time to connect. Not necessarily that you're doing something wrong, but you might be just, you might need a little bit longer time.
Yeah, just more exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Reps and sets really matter, and that's why it's all about
exactly
putting it a few more until
connects. And just stay nice and tall now. Let's like bring the retest, the same test we did earlier.
Yeah.
Stay nice and tall. Relax your arms around your body. And just sense the ground, the feet under your ground. Oh, I'm sorry, the ground under your feet. And then from there, sense the pressure in your feet. And I think that even now, you're already staying in a slightly narrow stand. I don't need to tell you to get narrow stand. You're probably just finding that position easier. And again, you can just like retest. Just pay attention to the front of the foot, pay attention to the heel, move slightly back and forward. You might, you might already be in the center and you don't need that. And hopefully you can feel a better connection, like bottom to top.
Well, I feel more balanced through both feet. I don't feel like there is more pressure in one than the other.
Yeah.
And I actually feel calmer in my whole system. And as we were doing these exercises, and your voice and connecting with the ground, I could just feel like I'm getting calmer.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that
I
was
would say probably if you have a garden, you might be better if you go outside and put your feet in the grass and just try it there.
exactly.
You're probably gonna feel much nicer than if you're on a wooden floor or carpet like me,
Yeah.
and it's gonna feel amazing.
Yes, that's a great idea. And I do have a backyard. And as you might
Hmm.
have heard, they were just cutting grass.
And it's okay if the ground is not that even. We can still work on finding the pressure like under the foot and just working on like transitioning the pressure back and forward. And it's absolutely fine if the ground is not flat. It's like it's fine
Yes, and I think it's also a good movement nutrient for the
for
feet
sure.
and the ankles because that's what they're really designed for. With
Yeah.
the 25 bones and 33 joints, there is a lot of those variations
Hmm.
just to control that journey of the arch doing this and the arch doing that, just like
Yeah.
you were coaching me about. So yeah, it's amazing.
And I will say we took about 50 minutes now the whole life, but you need just 5 minutes. At the beginning of the workout, choose one exercise, even maybe just like that standing position. Just pay attention for a few minutes and then forget about it. Do your workout. Don't worry too much. You
Yeah,
don't need to do it 50 minutes. You don't need to focus on every single exercise unless that's your aim to kind of like work on that.
yeah.
But you don't have to compromise your workout to think about your feet all the time. Just do it 5 minutes, warm up, sense the ground, find the pressure, and then just do the rest of the workout
Yes.
without thinking about that.
And that's a very excellent idea. So I think it's a good time to conclude and excellent advice. Just
Yeah,
really bring that awareness and then move on with your life or exercising and just step by step, you're going to get there.
exactly.
Thank you so much, Raleigh, for
Thanks
joining
for having me.
us from the UK and helping us get grounded through our feet, with our feet, and the whole body.
Bye,
In
guys.
Jesus' name, bye everyone.
Bye.